Let's do some final season grades, Dave. Let's start with Notre Dame. When you looked at them coming into the season, I think an A+. As you build up a program, that's what you want to do. Go undefeated, win your games, get to the college football playoff, and then go from there. Yeah, they took that loss against Clemson in the playoff, but I think overall you look at this in the right direction. I know there was a lot of memes on the internet and that pointing out all these big losses for Notre Dame in these big games recently, but if I look at it, I say an A+.
Yeah. I'd go with an A because the ultimate goal, A+ is to win the national championship. But to get there, I agree with you. I mean, they got there this year. They won every game they had to win this year. They won them on the road. They won them at home. They won close games. They won games they were supposed to win. Some games they weren't as impressive as others, but when they had to get the job done, we talked about it over the last few seasons. Once they got the defense settled, Coach Kelly does a fine job with the offense. The defense finally caught up this year. Kelly readjusted that defense a little bit, realigned the defensive staff, and they got some players who believed on that side of the ball. And it showed once they got to through the meat of the season. They were able to put teams away with their defense and stop teams. The second half of the game against USC is a perfect example. They played well that game. Against Clemson, you really can't, again, Clemson's another level along with Alabama. So Notre Dame got there. It's another stepping stone. Now let's see if the Irish can maintain that momentum, because they've had this in the past where the Notre Dame teams have had outstanding seasons, then fallen off the next season. Can they maintain that consistency will be the big key.
That's what I agree with, Dave. You take this as a stepping stone and say, hey, can we get to that level with Alabama and Clemson? Then we'll judge once again. For Penn State, Dave, believe me, I was upset on New Year's Day. My pork and sauerkraut did not taste as good after that game. But once again, it's kind of all year long. Penn State missed some opportunities. But overall, I gave it a B-. We both said 3 losses, and I thought 50-50 on the bowl game coming into the season. How they lost the games was disappointing, but I still think, okay, let's see. This was a in-between season. Can they maybe build on that next year? So I'm saying what I was looking forward to in the beginning of the season to what they gave me, a B-.
I agree about that. Yeah, B-, in that range. You had a quarterback for the ages in Trace McSorley. He's obviously going to be missed. I mean, he meant so much to that program. Win, loss, whatever, over the last 3 seasons, he's been there through the thick and the thin. So the replacing him is going to be a big key. And they lost some other players via the draft. Other players declared eligible early. Miles Sanders will be tough to replace, but fortunately you have Ricky Slade coming back and a couple of hotshot recruits coming in as well. So it's going to be another adjustment for Penn State next season. I think the defense is going to be outstanding next season, so they're going to build off the defense as opposed to building off the offense this year. And then they're another team has to get more consistent. You can't go 1 year, being super, and another year just being a team that drops a lot of passes or misses blocks or doesn't make a defensive stand when they need to. They just have to get consistent on both sides of the ball, and you'll see them, contend for the Big Ten title.
And Dave, you talk about the frustration in that, and I want to close with this, is how close, and I know I might say, Penn State fan here, but I mean, you win those 2 games at home against Ohio State, Michigan State, and the way the season played out, you're back in the Big Ten championship, and it's a whole different grade that you're getting. Well, keep reading Dave's work along with Steve Stallone, Eric Schultz, and the Standard Speakers. They cover winter sports all around our area.